How's it going, everyone? My name is Rick Ramirez. I'm also known as Rick's 2 Cents. Thank you for joining Shop Talk Live, along with my fellow co-host Steve from Steve Makes Everything.
Howdy.
Roger from Roger Shop.
Howdy, howdy. Welcome, welcome.
Yeah,
hope the weather's better where you are than where I am, because we are getting ice. In fact, I walked out of the house to come up here to do this live stream and sat right on my derriere because of that ice.
It's a good way to break a tailbone.
But I did not spill the rum.
Well, that's the important thing.
That's all that counts, right? That's funny. Let's see here. What is today? Today is, we just hit our 1-year anniversary. So I thought that was pretty cool.
Wow. Time flies. Yeah. It'll be 2 more weeks before I celebrate 1 year because I missed the first couple.
Okay. Yeah, so I thought that was definitely pretty cool.
Yeah, I think our first one, I was trying to do it from Mexico with a bad internet connection.
Oh, okay. Yeah, so that's cool. But so anybody got any questions or anything? Looks like some people are popping in here to live. Let us know. And as always, let us know where you're joining us from. It's always cool to see the people joining from all over the world. We now have a global audience.
Woohoo!
Yeah, Ozark, Alabama, Hawaii. I'm sure there's no ice storm there.
Yeah.
we got
Clayton's like, yeah, buddy.
Yeah.
Chris from Perth.
Oh, Waverly, Iowa. Okay. Gary, how much ice are you getting right now? We've got about 3/16 to 1/4 of an inch. And it's slicker than KY jelly on a marble floor out there. So
Whoa. Sounds like
too much of a vision.
Yeah. I was trying to keep it clean. South Carolina.
Everyone smash that like button.
We had a big ice storm here about 20 some years ago, and it took down towers like the high voltage lines, took a bunch of those down. It was just crazy. We only lost power for about 3 hours, but there were people who were out of power for like 45 days, and this happened in the middle of the winter.
That sucks. Nancy said, "Happy Hump Day, everyone! Happy Hump Day."
Nancy.
She is.
Did you get your vent fixed, Nancy? Although I thought it looked fabulous. I mean, it's the classic handyman special.
I had thought for some reason Nancy was in Texas. I don't know why I thought that.
No,
I thought that for some reason. I don't know why.
Yeah, Florida's slightly warmer than Texas most of the time. Morning, from Belgium.
Not necessarily in the summertime, but.
Oh yeah, Waterloo, Iowa. I think you're getting some ice up there too.
Yeah.
At least it's on its way. It hasn't been there yet.
So Clayton's really rubbing it in here.
Is it not snowing for you, Clayton?
Well, here it is exactly. I'm looking at 32 degrees. And
Mark said he's from Elgin, Texas. I didn't know there was an Elgin, Texas. There's an Elgin, Illinois. Yeah, cool.
Is that how you say that? Elgin?
Yeah.
Yep.
Oh, not Elgin?
No, Elgin.
Oh, okay. Here you would say Elgin.
California. Yeah.
Yeah, just enough to make it slick. Yeah. I was saying I fell right on my rear end when I came out of the house and I come up here to do this. So yeah.
Mason, Illinois. So you're with Roger Nuss in Illinois. Very cool.
Is that south of? I'm not familiar with where that is. That south of the Chicagoland area, south of the Quad Cities, or are we north, like up by Rockford, or where are we at?
Let's see where we're at. Mason. Never heard of that. It's 45 minutes for me.
Yeah, the only time I see ice is in my drink. Yeah,
well, you could go to the top of the volcano there, Clayton.
It's by Morris. It's by Morris.
There was snow.
Okay, that's a few hours for me.
Yeah. Yeah, Morris. Mokina, Morris.
Hey, V.
Dwight.
V made it on time tonight.
What's going on, V?
Oh, 78, I could go for
that. Yeah, we say it. Yeah, he says it like we say it. We say it because Lord Elgin says it that way.
Hey, so Steve, I got to ask you. So when I changed your access from co-host to admin,
Yeah.
Was it then if I do that, you comment as me? Was that the drawback? Or what was the reason you
Did I comment as you?
I saw that one time.
I was logged in as me.
Right, I know, but I saw it when I just said hello. I saw my own name before I was like, oh.
No, that wasn't me.
Oh, okay.
I did say hi to Chris when we got started there before we got started.
I just wasn't sure if it made it come up as me.
No, I think I'm my own person.
Cubanita Miami bread. That's
Nice.
interesting.
Nice one. 75.
Yeah, it's actually quite cold where I am. It's pretty close to 0 Fahrenheit right now. But it's going to rain tomorrow, so or later on Friday, I think, overnight, Thursday night, tomorrow.
I didn't know if he had surgery. I hope you have a speedy recovery.
Oh, yeah.
Speaking of Roger, how's your wife doing?
Doing pretty good. Went and had some checkups today, and her oxygen level is staying at least above 90, which is a great thing. You need to, if you're not familiar with your SpO2, that's your blood oxygen level, you need to really, to keep cognitive function, you need to stay above 85, and ideally you should be well above 90. I usually run around 98 to 100, and I know that because we have these monitors, and I like sticking it on my finger all the time to see how I'm doing. So,
yeah, I've done that too. AGT Restorer, that's a new name for us?
Yeah, in Eau Claire, Wisconsin. Yeah. I've been there.
Local.
So I know enough French to know that that's clear water.
Yeah. Oh, A1 Mini died today. I've got a new addition to the shop here. I have another A1, bamboo A1, sitting right there next to 2 X1 carbons.
So as much as you use them, Roger, like when do they just die? Like non-repairable?
I've had, and it doesn't matter what brand it is.
Right, I know, but you're putting hundreds of hours on them.
I've had drivers go out. I've had motherboards go out. I've had cables fail. I've had hot ends go to hell. Thermistors fail. It just happens. And I don't care what brand it is.
In theory, though, you can fix all of those, right?
Oh, yeah.
So in theory, there's no point of no return, right? You're saying it's...
Not really. Not unless, like, the bed... Well, even if the bed goes bad somehow, you can replace the whole bed.
Yeah, everything's replaceable. And one thing I do like about Bamboo is they have parts. Every single part you need is on their site, and they are not overpriced.
Nice.
Unlike Creality, where it gets a little bit ridiculous with some of their stuff. Same with Longer. On the Longer 3D printers, you can get anything you need right from their site. King Room, same way. So
I was surprised about their website. It almost seemed like a complete catalog ID. Like you didn't have to go search it from Longer. You'd have to go search for it, and they literally like list everything. I was like, that's kind of crazy, actually.
Yeah.
You know? Well, that's the way it should be, right?
Oh, absolutely.
Like you should be able to fix things.
Yeah, absolutely. No, I just thought it was like they're like talk about open catalog, like literally, you know.
Yeah.
I thought it was
cool. Mean, fortunately, they didn't take a lesson from Apple, where the first thing you do when you buy an Apple computer is buy a new set of tools.
Yeah, screwdrivers, everything else, everything's completely full.
Because every 5 years they invent a new kind of screw that you need a tool for.
Yeah,
I'll agree with this. 3D printers are consumable, held together in a frame. Yeah, there's a lot of consumable parts there.
Yeah,
and that's just, I mean, it's like having a table saw. You're going to wear out blades. You're going to wear out a motor. I mean, it just happens.
Nate said, when I had COVID, my doctor advised me to go straight to the doctor if my oxygen was below 94. I understand how hard it is to breathe on low oxygen. I feel extremely weak and at very, very least.
Yeah, and the other thing is if your oxygen gets below, let's say 82, and it gets down in the low 80s and upper 70s, your cognitive function is disrupted bad. And you can, it's almost like you have dementia. Because when my wife originally had the collapsed lung and she was in the hospital before they got her oxygen level up, she had no idea where she was, didn't know how she got there, didn't know what day it was. I mean, nothing. So, until her oxygen level got back up to where the cognitive function returned, it's a scary thing. It's a real scary thing.
It's crazy. So I'm curious, new year, I'm sure people are setting new goals. What's something that you want to attempt to do out of your comfort zone? What's something from the audience here that something you've been putting off to do that you're finally doing. And Roger made fun of me when he said, "I told you could make money making coasters," because I bought all those coasters and they've just been sitting. They were literally sitting in a Rubbermaid for like 8 months, not maybe a year. I don't know. And I finally, I got the longer Nano, and I was like, I got to try this. And the Nano was like, a go-to for that. And I just ran through those coasters. So
I have the Nano Duo sitting on my workbench right now.
Nice.
I've turned it on. That's about it. But
very cool.
I was working on something else this week.
Very cool. Yeah, so let us know, guys. If you guys have, ladies and gentlemen, anything you want to try and you're outside your comfort zone.
Nancy has a laudable goal here. Just make her Monport work.
I like that. I like that question that Paul had about as YouTubers, you also watch YouTube, and if so, what type of content do you watch? I do watch I watch the people in our group. I watch their videos, of course, but I also like to watch anything that has to do with history. And my wife makes fun of me because I'm like, hey, what are you watching? I says, oh, the history of cheese. Or just something absolutely bizarre. But some of that stuff is actually pretty fascinating. You learn quite a bit from the reputable channels, not the guys that make crap up. But I mean, I'm not a Mr. Beast follower or anything.
You mean you don't like Ancient Aliens? Come on, man.
I've taken to Cleo Abram. I don't know if you know who she is. She does a series called Huge If True. This will be huge if it's true. She does it's like there's always positivity in what she does, but she takes on some big things. Her and her friend not that long ago built a fusion reactor in their garage just because somebody told them it was easy.
Yeah, I'm a history nerd too. Like I get stuck down those rabbit holes and just like, what did you do today? Like, man.
Yeah.
Like stupid topic, but like the why can't I think of the name? Oh man, why can't I think of the name?
Oh, he's got dead air. We have to cut him off.
It'll come back to me.
I also watch a lot of different cooking channels because I do cook quite a bit. And back in my teenage days, I was a sous chef for a while, so I'm familiar with how commercial kitchens work. And I do like to cook. In fact, I cook 99% of our meals here, so
oh wow,
I like to watch that stuff too.
The Grand Canyon.
I need to go look at my history of YouTube here to see what I watched in the last couple of days.
I like the Grand Canyon because how the government closed it off and they said they found all this crazy stuff. There's so many videos on that. I go down that rabbit hole once in a while. Yeah,
house repairs, homes on homes is another one I get a kick out of watching.
Hey, whoa, this is PG.
Yeah. Homes on homes. Mike Holmes.
I'm not talking about John Holmes. I'm talking about Mike Holmes.
Yes, it's
Mike
Holmes.
Called Mexicans, you're like, Holmes, what's up, Holmes?
Yeah. that series is really old. I don't even know if he makes that series anymore. It's a Canadian show, right?
Yeah, it is. And he does a lot of screwed up Canadian houses. So AGT Restore, I see getting my bamboo A1 up and going and learning to design my own products. Yeah, and here's the one I just set up. And nice. You'll see it doesn't look like yours because I not only did a top mount, I added hygrometers to it and a filament enclosure to it. And if you're interested in doing that, you can find that stuff in Maker's World or whatever the hell they call that in Bamboo Studio. All the STLs are there. You print them all out and snap it all together.
That's a little convenient, right? You need to mod your 3D printer with 3D printed items.
Oh yeah, I mean even the top mount, that's all 3D printed. It doesn't come to you that way.
A lot of 3D printer companies do that, right? It's like here's our printer, and then they give you a USB drive with a thumb drive, and the thumb drive is full of parts you can print to make your printer better. Yeah.
So the trucker said, I'm having an issue with my longer 20 when it puts something engraved and says 20 minutes, but it takes longer than that.
Well, that's not uncommon.
No, that happens. And it doesn't matter just the longer. That's with everybody.
Yeah, it's got nothing to do with your laser. It's more to do with the challenges Lightburn has to calculate an actual time.
Yep.
I mean, even in 3D printing, when you're using, and it doesn't matter what slicer you're using, it's going to say it's going to take 7 hours and 2 minutes to print. Well, if you actually time it, it takes longer than that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Abandoned mansions. Yeah, I watch that stuff too. There's actually a Facebook group says like abandoned something in Illinois.
Yeah.
And I can't believe the things people post that are in Illinois that just abandoned. Like, wow. And they'll delete it if you don't post a lat long because you have to prove like it's legit. Because now AI, you can make anything, right?
Does anybody just move into these places? Like if it's abandoned, like
it's crazy. And so when I was younger, I hated history. After I hit 50, I seen the draw in history. Who knew?
Yes, I was always one of them people that was just into history. I mean, history in high school and junior high, I got A's in it all the time. I just loved it.
Yeah, the Freemasons. Yeah, that's why I got stuck on the stupid what's that island by you?
Oak Island?
Yeah, Oak Island. I got stuck on the Oak Island.
I thought you were talking to me. I was going to say Turkey Island. That's the island by me. Turkey Island.
You're like on the Illinois River? No, Oak Island.
Yeah, that's an interesting show. It's just like it reminds me a lot of like Gilligan's Island, if you're old enough to have ever watched that, where every week they almost get there, right? Like they're almost going to be rescued. Right. This is the same thing. Every week they're like that close to finding the big treasure.
It always amazed me the professor could build a nuclear reactor out of coconut shells, but couldn't fix a hole in a damn boat.
That's
the one thing I didn't get about that show is that every time they found anything, they're like, let's stop and go to the war room. Why? Keep looking. You found something. Why are you going to stop? Let's go to war room and talk about it. Yeah. What the heck?
Because that's what gets ratings.
Yeah.
Okay, how did I do the top mount? There is a set of files on Bamboo's site. You go do it. It is actually endorsed by Bamboo, and it's got absolutely everything down there, every STL file. It gives you step-by-step how to put it together. I did a video on putting this together, but I didn't go into the details on the top mount so much because Bamboo did such a good job on their project file of showing you everything step-by-step.
Nice.
And there's quite a few parts to print, but it's not difficult. And I use PETG for my top mount. And I know the question is going to come up, what did I use for the dry box? It's a combination of PLA and PETG.
Yeah, that was actually the next question. Did you see that?
I pretty much.
Roger, what filament do you prefer to use on your 3D printer?
I pretty much only ever use PETG anymore. If I have to print PLA, I have to go find a roll somewhere because it's just.
If one of the major things we sell are riser blocks for lasers, and that's all PLA.
Yeah.
I mean, nobody's going to be using it outdoors, but anything that we do, like our DeWalt battery holders, for example, or Works battery holders, and Makita battery holders, that's all PETG.
Yeah, I just find PETG prints better.
But Roger, do you want to explain what the difference is?
PETG is PETG is what it's called. It's the same stuff they make water bottles out of.
Oh.
If you go buy your Aquafina water bottle, that's PETG plastic. That has UV resistance where PLA doesn't. However, PETG will also absorb moisture faster than PLA will. So if you're printing with PETG, you got to make sure your filament's dry.
Yeah,
or you'll end up with artifacts all over.
I like PETG's made of corn, basically.
I like what Chris said.
Sorry, PLA is made of corn.
Chris said, saves the manufacturer heaps on shipping when it comes on a flash drive, right?
Yeah.
Then you feel motivated, like, oh, I created something, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess.
I used to get a kick out back when I was working. We get a piece of equipment, and we'd be in a factory, and we open it all up and looking for the manual or whatever, and there's a CD-ROM in there.
Yeah.
Like, I hold it up to the light, and I still can't read it. So then you got to find somebody with a computer. Yeah. This is back in the 90s. I'm not talking about modern times here, but.
Nancy said she graduated high school with a D in history, never understood why the information was necessary. Now I realize it mattered.
Yeah, well, I was kind of that way too. It's like it already happened. Who cares, right? You can't change it.
Filament manufacturer. Okay, I've got a few. Of course, I am a fan of Bamboo's printer filament because they have ideal profiles for it, and it's just flawless. So, and I get a big discount because I buy so much. If you buy in large quantities, you get a big discount from Bamboo. My other brands would be Overture and Sunlu. And from Sunlu, I'll buy, a lot of times they're what's called the recycled filament. And if you do that, just get the black, because if you try to get a color, it won't be consistent. They recycle their scraps or whatever, and the Sunlu recycled filament is ideal if you're doing prototypes. And it is super cheap. It's under $10 a roll if you buy 10 at a time.
Nice.
Yeah, Overture is the Amazon discount brand, right?
No, Amazon has their own. It's Amazon Basic, and I do not like that.
Yeah,
Amazon
I thought Amazon stopped making it, and Overture kind of took over.
That could be. I stopped buying the Amazon filament because if it gets the least bit of moisture into it, it'll just snap.
Yeah, I've had like you open the roll after it's been sitting a while, and the first 10 feet of it you can just break up into dust.
Oh,
yeah,
that sucks.
That's why one of the reasons I don't like PLA. It's just, PET G. You could leave it in water and it will still print.
CJG said, "Late again, stuck in the shop working on lasers." Well, what do they say? Better late than never. So thank you for joining.
I'm stuck in my shop with lasers all the time, and I love it.
So there's no D in history.
Yeah, PET G also has a higher temp resistance. It is a lot tougher, and it's less resistant to being brittle and breaking.
Yeah,
if you're going to do something that's going to sit in your car on the dashboard or something, let's say you're making a cell phone holder or a GPS holder, you don't want to make it out of PLA.
No,
you want to use PET G or ASA or ABS even.
ABS. Yeah.
Lumberzack said, "Is there a certain filament that you'd stay away from running in your bamboo?"
There's lots of them. Probably
anything with a cardboard spool. I don't run cardboard spools in my bamboo printers because it makes dust. This question here: do I only run bamboo filament on my bamboo? No, I also run Sunlu and Overture in them.
What's the state of bamboo these days as far as locking you out of your printer? Are they still on that path?
They've backed way down. I run in land mode, so I'm not connected to the internet with it. So to me, it's not going to affect me. I am not going to upgrade my firmware. It works like it is. As they say, if it ain't fixed, don't break it, or something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, Elegoo is okay. Sunlu is great. I'm reading this question here that from Zentero. I like Elegoo and Sunlu filament. Sunlu has a high-speed marble PLA of several colors like brick and concrete. I haven't tried their marble. I don't do too many things like that. Most of what we do is functional parts for lasers, or battery holders and that type of thing.
Most of those exotic filaments tend to wear out hot ends a lot.
Yeah, carbon fiber and wood filaments will. Yeah. If you don't have a hardened steel hot end, you're going to wear that nozzle out big time.
Yeah.
Yeah, especially carbon fiber is highly abrasive.
Crazy. Hey, where can I get an Enjoy Wood 20-watt lens? Never heard of Enjoy Wood.
I have an Enjoy Wood hone for plate irons, but I didn't know they made lasers.
Well, somebody makes their laser.
Yeah.
You might need to ask.
So you probably don't need the lens per se. You need the protective quartz cover on the end of the laser.
Where's Jay Don't Play when a comment comes up like this?
Yeah, if you measure the diameter of that quartz protector, go on Amazon. You can probably find something similar. They're pretty universal.
Yeah, even if you have to pop the existing one out and
there you go. Look, it says
use some RTD to stick the new one in.
There you go.
Adam Stack branched out. I didn't know they had a.
Oh, Adam Stack is like the LG of lasers, right? Like they sell under 1 million different brands.
I know Artur has a lower level, the Alfaro.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it still has Artur's logo on it.
True.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like Iker.
Yeah. I think that's Adam Stack too.
Yeah, that's Adam Stack. That's their high-end version.
Yeah, that's the high-end Adam Stack.
Yeah. Is the 200M module on the Enjoy Wood laser? Okay.
Yeah, it's probably got like it's probably got like a 15 millimeter quartz optic in the end.
Pull it out and measure it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, the question here is, been a couple weeks back, you guys mentioned magnetic dampeners or whatever they're called for closing off ending branches. They're called blast gates, and they're not necessarily magnetic, although you can get magnetic ones or make them. And it's just I don't have any up here. All of mine are actually in use now on my dust collector. But I 3D printed all of the ones I needed, and mine are not magnetic mount, although I could have. Mine are all either right into the PVC pipe or set up for connecting a 4-inch hose directly to.
Yeah, mine are all just hard connected, clamped on.
If you're doing something where you're going to be swapping from, let's say, from a table saw to a joiner to a planer, and you only have one hose, they make, if you look at Amazon, there's magnetic connectors. I know Rockler has them. And if you have a 3D printer, you can print your own.
Rockler's like Ace. They'll have it, but it'll be more.
Yeah.
I'm sure if you go to Thingiverse, you'll find them. Somebody will have done it. If not,
right?
It's a great opportunity to learn some 3D CAD.
Yeah.
You ever want to blow some money? You got some extra money to spend? Just flip through one of their catalog. You'll find something.
Now, speaking of 3D CAD, I got to play at Blender for the first time this last week. So
I've used Blender. The learning curve is crazy on Blender, though. Like it's hard to use. Actually, the latest version of Blender is better, but it's not. It doesn't work the way your brain works.
Well, no, so, you have to jump through hoops if you want to get measurements on anything.
Yes.
Yeah, that's crazy.
And you have to remember a lot of shortcuts, keyboard shortcuts and things, because you can never find anything on the menus.
It's not intuitive, and hovering doesn't always work. And
yeah. Anyway, but it's powerful. There's no question. But
yeah, you got 400 icons, and you don't really know what half of them are for.
Yeah.
I wanted to mention that our Facebook group continues to grow. If you're not already a member, please do so. Check it out.
Yeah, we were at 335 or 333 somewhere in there today.
Now, I just want to make sure that you have a clear understanding what our Facebook group is. It's not my Facebook group. It's not Roger's or Steve's. So no harm, no foul. If you do what we do, there's no harm to post, your work. The whole point is to collectively share within the group. It's not like stuff that you sell, you're posting on Roger's personal page where he also sells. So there's no stepping on toes, so to speak.
No, whatever you're making, put it up there.
Put it up there.
Yep.
And if you have questions, to be honest with you, I had yet to see one troll. Everyone's always helps each other, nice comments. I haven't seen one troll.
Yeah. It'll happen.
Yeah. Maybe once. I would delete a troll in a second.
Yeah. So you got 4 admins will knock you out. So just we all have our bad days, but just don't be a troll.
I had a troll on one of my YouTube postings this week. I had to delete. It had a statement in there that my toll bill for some highway somewhere was overdue, and I needed to click on this link to pay it. And I'm like, really? So that got deleted, reported.
Yeah, I've had a few of those, but it's always weird things, and so obviously it's nothing to do with my channel. So a lot of them YouTube's gotten a lot better, actually. The AI that keeps track of comments on your page is much better at removing things before you even see them. Any word on Xtool sending you an apparel printer? I think they're going to send me one. I don't know if I'll be in the first batch or not. It could be, which is too bad, because I'm actually working with a guy who runs a clothing company, a high-end clothing company, and wants to know what printers like this can do. So I did talk to Xtool about it. They haven't committed, but fingers crossed. I did actually also hear from ProColored this week. So I'd like to be able to compare their latest printer with the apparel printer as well. So
nice.
Hopefully I'll get one of those.
Yeah, Y-split. I have one of those. Right, we're talking dust collection here, by the way.
Yeah.
Anybody wonder what a Y-split was?
Yeah, because that could go any direction, really.
Zentretro or something. Oops, the Enjoy Wood has an Atom Stack 100 module. You can buy the replacement lens from Atom Stack. There you go.
The Atom Stack's pretty good at getting parts to you.
Yeah.
I know that because I broke something and it was user error. So yeah, they got it to me within about 5 days.
Thank you, V.
Yes, thumbs up are good.
Let's see.
Well,
Well, see,
thank
so
you, V.
V's jumping in and out of each one of our channels so she can
Yeah,
collectively support. Thank you, V.
yeah, we appreciate that.
Roger, so
And everyone could take a lesson from V.
there you go.
Give thumbs up. Looking forward to the video. Yeah, me too. I want to just see how these things, how practical they are in the non-t-shirt business. We'll say.
V said, "Ooh, I would like the UV DTF."
Me too. That would be an awesome thing.
Yeah.
A guy I've worked with, he's a viewer actually, but I've been doing a bit of consulting work for him. He's got a big UV printer. He's in the business, and man, it'd be nice to have, but it's a lot of dollars.
Yeah, I've been seeing a lot of the UV printers that are geared for phone cases.
Yeah,
I thought that was pretty cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I think that's like the pro colored one. I think is perfect for that, right? It's
right. No, but what I'm saying is it actually has like a bed for it. Like you literally, there's ones that are just particularly geared just for that.
Yeah, built-in jig for phone cases.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, kind of crazy. I could see it being like in a kiosk in the mall or something.
Yeah. The reason I want to compare these two is because the pro colored, the new one, the K13 is like $2,400 or something compared to almost $4,000 for the X-Tool one. Now, X-Tool claims they have some innovation, so whether they have $2,000 worth of innovation, we'll see. But I'm just excited that they're there because I think what they're doing is I've been kind of on this bandwagon lately about the technical workshop. And I think that's kind of where they're playing is, how many cool tech toys can we get into a workshop? Like, I think workshops aren't things with table saws anymore, right? They're things with lasers and CNCs and.
Oh, yeah. 3D printers and heat presses and lots of things.
So,
question here, is there a best way to print lithopanes, whether they're being flat or vertical? Say, see post saying their way is best. Just a preference. Well, I don't do a lot of them. I have done a couple. If you're using a bed slinger, as they say, 3D printer, you want to print it flat. And if you have a Core XY, it's better vertical. It's hard to keep a good vertical surface on a bed slinger because of the way it moves.
Yeah.
With the bed moving back and forth. On a Core XY, your bed doesn't move, so you'll build a perfect vertical column.
There you go. And if you don't know, now you know. Nancy said, "Is Andy feeling on the weather?" No, actually, his family dog passed away, so he's spending some family time with his family in memory of his dog. You said cha-ching. Yeah, printers are expensive.
Yeah, yes, the UV ones for sure.
Yeah,
printers are expensive. Motherboards are expensive. Dampers are expensive. Print heads are expensive.
The UV printer.
Eggs are expensive.
Yeah. Well, not here. See, like I was reading this thing the other day about eggs, and a dozen eggs in California being like $15. And I asked my wife, because I don't generally go grocery shopping. I said, "How much are eggs?" She said, "Oh, they're like $4 a dozen."
Now they're $5.97 US because I was at the store today, so I know that.
Uh-oh. Someone's making it rain.
Yeah, appreciate that.
Thank you.
Thanks for that. What else we got going on here?
Nancy said, "I need a bigger house, and my husband has an ion. Some UPS shows up." Has that? Yeah.
My wife does too. She says, "Are they dropping some more crap off, or are they picking up?" Because we have daily pickup here. I'm
So-
usually saying, well, it could be both.
So I know I'm in the same boat, Nancy. I was out for a walk one day on my street, and I don't know, halfway down my street. Probably my street is fairly long, and the UPS guy he drives up the street, and he stops on the street and says to me, "I have a package for you. Where do you want it?" Like my wife, she was with me. We were walking the dogs, and she just looked over and went, "What?" And when I got back from our walk, my UPS package was neatly set up by my workshop door. So,
hence, Steve, why my video did so well that you made fun of. If you
I didn't make fun of it, I wasn't, when I first watched it, I wasn't sure if you were actually going for the cheesy, poor lip syncing, or whether that was just your capability of making a video. I wasn't sure, so I didn't want to say anything.
I didn't want to seem like I was stealing someone's content, so it was intentionally cheesy, right?
I thought I was watching a Japanese Godzilla.
Yeah,
movie
exactly.
Well, that's kind of where I ended up, right? It's like,
That's
this
exactly
is
what
one
I
of
wanted.
these
What do you-
cheesy Chinese or Japanese kung fu movies.
Yeah,
Chinese kung fu
exactly.
movies.
Yeah, exactly. That's the route I was going for. I didn't want to seem like I was stealing someone's content, especially because they ain't really known. L6 Stein said, Rick, did you get your CNC yet? I got the little guy and the big guy's on order.
The Onefinity, you went with that?
Yeah.
You won't be disappointed.
So.
Your wife might be disappointed, though, if you're going to use this thing in your house.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it's going to be loud. Are you going to put a router on it or a spindle?
No, I ordered a spindle, water cooled.
Their spindle?
No.
They have a spindle now. It's insanely expensive, though.
I talked to them and they told me the spindle. I'm ordering the 110 2 something. It's from the guys who made that changer tool you have.
Yeah. Oh, no, that's a different company.
Is it? I thought it was the same company.
No, Rapid Change is the tool changer guys. No, it's the
what is it?
CNC, Pone CNC.
Yeah.
Those guys, yeah.
And then I ordered a Monport, was it CW 5000? The cooler.
Oh, yes.
And I'm just gonna hook that to the spindle.
Yeah, that'll work.
Yeah. And what's funny is that I actually saw them selling on their website the CW 3000, which is the one.
You don't need anything that powerful to keep the thing cool, though.
I know, but the thing was that
I have a 5-gallon pail with an aquarium pump in it.
Yeah, just the price that they were asking for on their website was like 3 times the price that Monport is selling it for. And
yeah,
the
Monport 3000.
They sell those things everywhere, right? Like
the Monport 3000 isn't really a chiller. It's a
right, no. They have the 3000s. It's not the chiller; it's a circulator. But the 5000 one with the cooler in it.
Yeah, that was an actual chiller.
Yep, I ordered 5000.
Yeah, that thing's going to generate about 1,000 times more flow than you need.
Yeah, well, I figured bigger, better. Yep, and I actually talked to them on YouTube, which is funny, and that's exactly what he said. I guess bigger is better.
Yeah. You use what you can get, right?
Yeah, I mean, we're not talking. I spent thousands of dollars. It's like $100.
One of the projects I've been toying with is making a vacuum table.
Okay, they're expensive.
Oh, they're crazy to buy. But I've been kind of thinking about it, and I think I can make one pretty cheap.
Looks like most of the time the pumps looks like that you would see like an air ride suspension system.
Yeah, it's just a vacuum pump basically.
No, what I'm saying is those are common in an air ride suspension system because they're small, quiet, and they're fast.
Yeah. Now you need those ones they can get away with small ones because they're not actually taking the thing down to vacuum, right? The one, like, you'd need quite a bit of flow for a vacuum table because basically you have a table full of holes, right? And anywhere you put a piece of wood, you need enough suction on it to work. And meanwhile, it's still sucking through all those holes. So
I'm looking at this next comment here, and it actually made me laugh. I think Rick's going to get it too. Says Nancy says, I'm a gadget girl. My husband knows not to buy me flowers or jewelry. He knows to show up with power tools or wood. No
Awesome.
pun intended. And I'll leave it there.
Whatever works. Whatever works.
Yeah, here the drivers from several courier companies all know me by name, and they do us too.
Yeah.
We weren't the only ones who got it.
Yeah, my UPS guy always leaves bones for the dogs. They're
Yeah,
always on top of
it
my
could be-
package, these little bones.
It can be tough losing a pet. That
Yeah.
last comment there. Yeah, in fact, when we did the live stream last week, that same day we just buried my best friend. So, yeah, it can be hard.
Mm.
So I was driving home today, and this country song turned on, and I says, "Why the hell is country so depressing, man?" And it was like advice from the backseat driver. I don't know if you guys ever heard that song.
No, I don't. I do not listen to country.
So it's about a guy's daughter who's giving him, like, talking to him while he's driving, and now she's grown, but he's remembering when she was a little kid and her feet were so short they dangle from the car seat. I'm like, what the hell? I'm crying at a light, like, what you looking at? Stop looking at me.
So LTX Designs here. Stephen Roger. I've been looking at a second 3D printer. Currently have a P1P. Torn between another bamboo, the T1 Pro, the K2 Plus, or the new Elegoo. One thing I've found out about the K2, that's Crealities, is they're deleting negative reviews. And one of my viewers turned me on to that. So if you go on their page and look at the reviews, the first 2 pages of reviews, you'll see a lot of 1/2-star and 1-star reviews. You go past the 3rd page, nothing is less than 4 stars.
So was it the early on? Maybe they kind of sucked. Or what's the deal with that? Or you think it's just
they're having problems? They have some quality control problems, not only with packing but with their extruders. Their extruders are plastic, and my harping thing on Creality is their tech support is just non-existent.
Yeah, it's not the best.
Yeah. So,
given this list, I mean, if you got the budget for a bamboo, buy a bamboo.
Yeah. Despite their firmware fiasco thing here, unless you're going to start a complete print farm, I wouldn't really worry about them trying to lock it down. There's still ways around. If you want to use Orca Slicer, you can do it, or run in land mode like I do.
B said, Nancy, we must be twins. I'm the same. Drills before flowers. Haha. Luckily, I have no hubby to side-eyed me. Chris, yes.
What's the new Elegoo printer? That big Core XY they have, the Orange Storm, that one.
I've kind of looked at it, but it doesn't. I'm looking for the, of course, Bamboo calls it the AMS, but I want the multi-filament feed, and it is so good for what we do. I don't have to worry about a roll of filament running out, because if it does run out, it'll just go to the one next door. It's automatic.
My T1 Pro review, a couple of people complained, oh, it's terrible. It doesn't have color. I said that in the video. Like, this is a downside. There's no color option. I don't know. If I was buying something for anything remotely production, I would probably get a bamboo.
Now, I did order a Anycubic Cobra Max Pro combo because I sold my longer LK5, so I could buy the Anycubic Cobra Pro because it has they don't call it AMS, they call it something else, but you have the multi-spool system, and I need that large bed area for a couple things we make. But that won't be here till sometime at the end of February.
Steve, curious, what do you have under your CNC? I just ordered a Craig 64x64 table.
Yeah, that's probably an ideal kind of option. I actually built my own because I wanted everything on wheels. Like, my whole CNC, I can move it anywhere, right?
Yeah.
Everything in my shop is on wheels.
So is mine. I just thought it would look cool because I already have the Craig table, so I thought
it's
the shadow would kind of match.
It's like, if I was buying one and I just wanted a CNC on it, that I would buy that one. But my CNC table has drawers and all kinds of stuff in it, right? it's a fully spec'd kind of table.
Nice. So Chad said, hey guys, curious on your thoughts on Omtech CO2 laser. This is the only thing I'm going to say, not being negative, is that you're going to pay to play when it comes to them, right? And the one thing I keep saying over and over again is when these manufacturers are US based lasers, keep in mind what you're paying for is the support. You have a toll-free number that they're Monday through Friday, their email support.
Yeah.
So it's a rebranded laser or whatever you want to call it, American, whatever you want to say it. I'm just saying, like, the reason you're paying extra for that is the support. So if you need the support, then you get what you pay for. That's all I'm saying. They're a reputable brand. I don't think they're hacks. Just they're going to be more than a factory direct, of course.
Yeah, I mean, I've heard good things about them, but
Yeah.
they're on the high end. If you don't need technical support, then don't buy that laser. Right? Just buy a Monport, anything cheap.
Yeah. Just being honest, right?
Yeah.
And not that it's a bad brand, not that's whatever, just that's what you're paying for.
Yeah, I think overall they're probably slightly better than most of the CO2 lasers.
Right. But that's what you're paying for. That's when you're looking for what is the value. Like when you're looking at apples comparison, this guy's double the price. So what's the value? And are they just charging more just so they feel like they're a superior product? No, they're charging more because what they're offering along with the product. That's my logic of thinking.
Yeah, I think this is one of the places where the Chinese companies continue to underestimate, right? Is just like, it's great that they can sell you $100 laser, but if anything goes wrong, throw it away and buy another $100 laser. Don't even try for support.
Yeah.
And I keep harping on them constantly about it. Xtool gets it. CommMarker's getting it. But there's so many companies that they're just terrible at it. It's just like
Chris said,
like
if you play,
they just want your money and then they don't ever want to hear from you again.
hook it and book it, right?
Yeah, that's one of my things about tech support. That may be why no 3D printer companies reach out to just give me one to try or to do a review on or anything, because I can be extremely critical about any shortcomings they have because I'm being honest.
Yep.
And if their tech support sucks, I will absolutely say so. And I've done it repeatedly. And I think that's turned off some of the companies from trying to give me printers. But then when I buy them, there again, I can say whatever the hell I want.
Yep.
Yeah.
Chris
Yeah,
said,
I didn't.
backwards. It makes a happy ending.
When I did the review for the K1 Pro, I didn't say anything bad about support because I didn't have to use support, but I have had to use support since then, and I have a lot of bad things to say about their support now. And I think their lasers or their 3D printers are fundamentally good, but boy, if anything goes wrong with them, you're basically messed up, right? It just doesn't work. Hey, there's Jay.
Yeah, and I'm here.
He's just here for the Roger.
Jay, you're like 2 minutes short. You would have died laughing on a comment that was Nancy made earlier. You might want to scroll up.
Yeah.
Oh, Centauri Carbon. Yeah, that's Elegoo's new one.
Yeah. Omtech is very good with me on the phone and setup, etc. I got in 2028. I got the 2028 60 watt. Yeah, see, that's like what I'm saying. That's what you're paying for. 1-800, I need help. Ooh, they answer.
Yeah, you don't often hear people have any issues with Omtechs, right? They just work.
Yeah.
And when they don't work, you can pick up a phone and you can call them and get somebody in your time zone.
Right.
And they fix your problem, right?
Yeah. So you guys doing anything special for Valentine's Day?
You keep asking that. I don't do Valentine's Day. My wife, I asked my wife what she wanted for Valentine's Day, and she looked at me like I was from outer space.
And the thing, everybody gives their wives or girlfriends or fiancés or whatever flowers. If I would give my wife flowers, she'd say, "What in the hell is this? We got a whole greenhouse. What are you buying flowers for?"
You said you're being cheap. You just went and got them from the backyard.
Yeah. Well, greenhouse.
These are ours. What the hell? Put them back. I need to sell these.
Yeah, you've got 4 greenhouses. What are you doing buying flowers?
So what is the issue with this Montport, Nancy? Because if it's just alignment, buy me a ticket in a hotel room for a day, and I'll go fix your Montport.
Yeah, that's
But
not
you can
cheap.
probably
You're
find somebody in
Canada.
driving distance.
No, you need to roll. All you really need to roll a masking tape with some patience.
Yeah, it's one of those skills that is worth developing if you have a laser.
I think maybe we should do a live with her and help her.
Yeah, maybe. She might not want that, but
It doesn't have to be a public live. It could just be a internal live.
yeah, previously recorded. Along the bottom.
Right. Chad says, with that being said, what CO2 laser would you recommend? We said if you're looking for a budget CO2, you can't go wrong with a Montport.
But just be aware, be willing to tinker. And, and replace the temperature gauges on them right away, because
As soon
they'll
as you get
go out almost instantly. But otherwise, it's a good laser. I've had no problems with it. I've cut hundreds and hundreds of clear acrylic unicorns with it, and it just works.
Yeah, it's kind of the kit car of the CO2 laser world.
Yeah, I keep saying that Montport is kind of like the pre-modded CO2 laser that you'd buy in mod, right? They have the upgraded boards and some of the things. The only thing you'd probably want to do, like Roger said, as soon as you get it, you probably want to change the temperature gauges. Yeah. Unless you live in Canada, because then they make sense.
Well, with me, they just went bad. I don't mind the centigrade part. They just went out.
Yeah. Although, Chad, I know where you can get a 90-watt Montport.
It just needs slight alignment. Clack says, I like Polar so far.
Yeah, that's the Omtech Polar Plus. It's a nice little desktop laser, right? It's their competitor to the P2S from Xtool. So which means it's about half the price, or close to half the price, and it doesn't have all it doesn't really require XCS, so it doesn't have all the fancy tool and part library stuff that Xtool has. But if you already know how to run a CO2 laser with light burn, you're good to go.
Well, this next one here, it's got a bunch of sublimation glass can tumblers that won't sublimate. Can't return them. You get them on Amazon. You can return pretty much anything on Amazon. What can I do with them? If you bought sublimation blanks that weren't actually coated, buy some coating. You can do it yourself. I've got some stuff over there that works. Give me just a minute. I'm going to walk over and get it, and I'll show you what it is.
Oh yeah, I wouldn't want to send a Montport from Florida to Australia.
Yeah. Beam me up, Laser Engraving. Hey Steve, your last short you made helped me crack the laser code business, so I'm excited to my future business plan. Thank you.
Yeah, so I've dug up some of those. That's actually from an old video I did. I'm actually going to do a new video, on a new business video soon, just because people. It's like they forget that whole piece of the business, right? It's like, I know how to engrave anything, or I can cut anything and make just about anything, but I don't know how to sell it, right? Or I don't know how to price it. So I'm going to do another video, but watch that whole video. It's old now, but it's kind of timeless information. Like, there's nothing in there that's dated. So it's the business piece is something that a lot of people just don't want to take the time to do.
Okay, the sublimation coating, it's called DIY Game. You can buy it on Amazon. It's better if you spray it on, than because if you brush it, you're going to see brush strokes. But if that's kind of a last resort if you want to do something with it. This works on cotton too, by the way. If you take a cotton shirt, you want to sublimate to it, put a coating on it with this, and it actually holds up pretty well.
So if I said wrong, Omtech really good support. I think you may have misunderstood our comments, because that's exactly what we were saying.
Yeah, they're, from a CO2 business perspective, I'd say they're pretty close to the best.
Yeah, we were actually kind of rooting for their support. We weren't bashing them at all.
Yeah. I mean, Xtool's support for their stuff is good, but it's you know, you're going to pay a lot more for the laser to start with.
So Nancy's looking for anyone who's in Florida who can help her.
Well, it's winter in Canada and you're in Florida, so you know I could be nearby.
I'm down, guys. Just let me know. Chris said, watching some big talk through mirror alignment, watching someone being talked through mirror line would make a fantastic video.
There you
So
go,
you want
Steve.
to get-
I've got enough to do, but that'd be right up your alley.
Yeah, well, I've done actual alignment videos,
But
but
walking them through, that's different. That's different.
yeah, well, yeah, we can get Nancy to walk through it if she wants.
My issue with trying to do a video like that would be because of where my CO2 laser is. It's absolutely horrible to try to shoot video in there.
Nancy's in Florida, V.
Short drive from Tennessee.
She said,
Miami,
"Dang."
See,
Florida.
we could go on a road trip, right? We could go fix Nancy's laser, stop at V's place, stop at Clack's.
What's next? Vegas?
Vegas, baby. Actually, I've been working with a couple guys in Vegas, just doing some hourly rate stuff to get them up and running.
Nancy's on a roll today, boy.
Oh yeah, I like these suggestive comments. I need a bigger size bed. The desktop CO2 wasn't going to cut it. Again, no pun intended. And we'll leave
Someone's
it there.
priming up for Valentine's Day.
Yeah, that's
Yes.
true. Make margaritas. My
Yeah,
wife
they-
likes those.
Someone
And I
needs
can
a
make a killer
margarita.
margarita.
28 by 20.
Yeah, my home built CO2 laser is 24 by 36, and it's sweet. I really wish I'd made one even bigger, like a 36 by 48, but it cuts pretty much anything that I want. So
Yeah, it's a test all Temu product, so we return within the return window. Yeah.
Temu keeps bugging me about stuff.
I know.
Oh, me too.
We'll
Yes.
ship you our whole store if you do some reviews and some,
Oh yeah,
some videos
I've gotten
with
those, and
material.
then they want the agreement where you need to let us look at it first, and no, it ain't
Yeah,
gonna
that's
happen.
not going to happen.
Jay don't play such you need some sublimation work done. Roger.
Roger, that's you.
Roger.
There's no lipstick on this comment, but it sounds like there should be.
Oh, too bad I don't have a Clarence Carter song clip here of stroking. Clarence Carter made a song called "Stroking." It was from back in the '90s. And back when I was a DJ, we used to play that quite a bit in the nightclubs.
Jay said she ain't paying for shipping. She's kind of picking up. She lives in Illinois too. Watch out. Oh no, I thought I bought a few things from Temu. Yeah. You know what I did buy from Temu is I bought these like knockoff Game Boys for my kids. They came with like 2,000 games for like $9.
Yeah, they're like
Yeah.
the retro pie
Yeah,
kind of,
it's like
kind
that.
of things, right?
There you go. Exactly. Don't deal. I mean, you know, like, and it's not too bad actually. You know, like, you
Yeah.
can't complain.
I don't know. I mean, the one time I actually bit on a Temu message, I was actually looking for one of these magnetic polishers, and I ended up buying one on Amazon. But they had one, and they said, "Oh, anything you want." Okay, I want one of those. Oh no, you can't have one of those. It's like, okay, then go away. Like one thing in your store of 2,000 items or 10,000 items, whatever it is, that I'm actually interested in looking at, and you say no. So
Yeah, I don't even know
Yeah.
how they got my WhatsApp. Even messaged me on WhatsApp.
I've had a few of those. Now, what's worse is not only do they have your WhatsApp, they have your phone number now too, right?
Right.
So
Right. Clack said, "Give me a year or so, I'll get the Clack Shop inner up and going."
we'll go on a road trip and we'll go hang out with Clack.
So you open up a little B2B down there. That wouldn't be too bad.
He's like,
I'm
"You boys
sure
got."
there's some kind of hotel in Clanton.
He said, "You boys don't sleep in the garage. Ain't no coming to my house."
We sleep in the shack.
Exactly. We got 3 sleeping bags.
Yeah.
Here's a case of beer, 3 sleeping bags. Isn't the show Clack going to be in West Virginia or something? He lives there.
No, he's in Alabama.
Oh, Alabama. Clack, are you going to Virginia? Nancy says, great big video idea. Your ratings will skyrocket.
Well, I would be happy with that, but if you want to do a video, we can get on a call and we can get your laser running.
Just jump on StreamYard, set it up, Steve.
Yeah, we could do that.
Yeah.
And just record it. We'll have to probably bleep a whole bunch of expletives, but
well, you can upload the StreamYard, don't go live just within StreamYard and download it.
Yeah.
Just use a StreamYard account. Oh, there. What do you say? Oh, there he is, even Mr. Clack. BJ said you need a good square and a good framing square to align a CO2.
Well, yeah, maybe, but this thing is production, so it should already be square.
Yeah, I assume it's not going to be far off unless she was way goofing with it, right? You just
well, it depends how they ship them, right? Like they get banged around, and like they put it in a big wooden crate, which to the shippers generally means, oh, I can drop it off a crane. They should pack it in like tissue paper, and then they'd be a lot more gentle with them.
Yeah, Nancy. Unfortunately, when it comes to mirror alignments, like any manufacturer, I don't think they're gonna like kind of bite the bullet on them being their fault. They're gonna say it's shipping or aligning is just normal setup process. Unfortunately, now, I'm not saying other manufacturers wouldn't help you go through it, but I'm just saying I think you're gonna hear the same response from anyone.
Yeah. But the reality though is it doesn't matter what CO2 laser you buy, eventually you're going to have to align it. So, we can teach you now if you want.
Jadon Play said, "I got to run, guys. Just want to say hi. I wanted to make Roger blush. Good night."
Yeah, I got my rum here tonight, so we're good.
Clark said, "Roger, I got the Creality Space PI dryer. P1. Prints much smoother now."
Yeah, I've looked at different dryers. I have 3 dryers. 2 of them are Sunlu, and one of them is like Liakamoja Fujiani or something like that, some weird brand. But I'm thinking about doing, and if you've ever seen the channel,
I like how you just made that name up on the fly.
I did.
Sounds Irish to me, but
Sam Craft did a video on using a food dehydrator, and I think I'm going to do the same thing because we go through so much filament, not near as much as he does. But it just takes too long. And that said, the Anycubic Cobra Max I bought with their AMS or whatever they call it actually has a dryer built into it, and I think that's great.
Clark said he's going to Atlanta on the 27th, not Virginia.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind going to that show, but I don't know. The world's too crazy right now, so.
What is it?
It's the Woodworkers show. I forget what the formal name is. It's where the real tool companies are.
Nice one. BJ said, I use the square to make sure the mirrors are perfectly mounted when they hit the center of the mirror. Require minimal adjustment.
Yeah. Yeah,
everyone's going to have a different method to the madness, I think, right?
Well, no, I mean, if I'm anal retentive myself, and I like the beam to hit the center of the mirror, so I spend a lot of time adjusting mirrors. Not so much anymore, but when I first got my laser fired up, I spent I don't know, probably a week or more just tearing it down every day, readjusting it and building it back up, and finally getting all the beams hitting the centers of the mirrors.
It was like that guy in the military where they disassemble their gun. He's like, close his eyes.
Yeah. Here, Emerald Coast Sand Sifter. I like that name. So nothing more fun than Roman lasers, LOL. Well, I will say, and I do joke about having a few beers or having a few cocktails. However, when I'm using power tools or lasers, I am not under the influence of alcohol whatsoever. Especially on the table saw.
Only when he's wearing a hard hat like this.
But you should be okay now, Roger. You got the saw stop now.
Yeah, well, still, I don't want to waste
It'll protect you
$100
if
on a
you're drunk.
break. So yeah.
Yeah.
No, and I'm adamant about that. When I'm working with power tools and stuff, I do not drink.
Nancy said you might want to not leave Canada, Steve. They might not let you back in.
Yeah, well, that's possible. But wherever I am will want to get me out. So,
Or if you try to come here, they'll probably deport you.
Yeah.
Not to get political, but
you know, it's only a matter of time anyway. So,
International.
yeah, there it is. Yeah,
Yeah,
the International
Festival.
Woodworking Festival.
Yeah. On even years.
Yeah, it's the place where you'll see like the cool tools. Unlike CES, where you'll see cool tools, but you won't be able to get them in your shop for like 4 years.
Oh,
if
that's
ever. Right. It's all.
that's like going to one of the car shows where they've got all the prototype models out that you can look at that they'll never make.
Yeah.
Yeah, what's it called? They have in Chicago this huge hot tub convention. It's like outdoor stuff, but most of the manufacturers are from China. So I know a lot of people that go to those type of shows only to buy the display.
Yeah.
Like they're coming with dualies and trailers because they have no idea what they're planning to buy, but they're getting saunas and hot tubs for like $400. You know what I mean? $7,000. Like they can't ship it back. They sell it.
Yeah.
I've been to the boat shows up there in Navy Pier a few times, and you know, if you go there on Sunday, the last day of the show, you could buy their display models like dirt cheap. I never bought one, but I've seen how cheap these guys, they just want to sell the display so they don't have to take it back home.
Yep. That's crazy. Clack, they're asking how many days until you retire?
I'm sure he knows.
He's gonna turn around to his sign.
Should be right on the top of his
What's up, Clack Dave? You want to join us? Let us know. We're down a guy today. If you want to join us, I'll shoot you a link. Let me know.
Yeah, when I was working up to retirement, I only gave a 2-week notice because after I figured out that I was actually working for about 50 cents an hour, I said, hey, it's time to retire. So gave 2-week notice, and they're like, no, you can't. And I said, yes, I can. 238 days.
When I decided I was leaving, I gave my company 5 months notice.
Wow.
I was kind of hoping they'd say, no, here's a check, leave now. But damn it, they made me stick around for the whole 5 months.
No, I did do consulting work for a couple of years actually more than a couple of years afterwards, but now I don't even do that. I don't want to. I'm done with it.
Yeah, I so don't miss the tech business. It's just too crazy.
Any job I've ever given a notice for, they walked me out the door right then and there.
Yeah, well, certainly when the company I left before that, I should have given them 5 months notice because, well, I was a director there. Well, I mean, I was a director where I was too, but they decided that I was going to be some kind of a threat to the culture. And when I left, they told me that I shouldn't recruit people from my organization. And I guaranteed I wouldn't do it, but several people followed me. It's like, if I got a job and they're looking, I'll hire them.
Hey, Clack, I sent you a link. If you want to jump in, go ahead. Yeah, the last time I quit one of my jobs, I walked in and handed the VP my 2-week notice. He looked at me like he wanted to give me every 4-letter word in the book. And as I walked out one after one, each one of my guys quit right after me.
Yeah, that's how it is. Yeah, I mean, I had a team of, 30 people. And within 5 months, they were all gone.
Yeah. It was funny because when they wanted me to come, I said, well, I got to bring my guys with me. And when the guys started, they're like, hey, dude, I got my check. I got a raise. Oh, yeah, I gave you a raise to come with me. They asked, what's he at? I gave everybody a raise.
I had one instance. I was a general foreman on a big steel mill that was being built, and I got fed up with the company and I quit. as a general foreman, and the next day was on the same job site as a general foreman with a different contractor. That is a good way to get your name on every outhouse door.
Awkward. Yeah, awkward.
Yeah, but it came out. It was all the better for me. I worked on everything. It was perfect.
Chris said, I just retired. I just include my consultant rates in my retirement letter to make sure I didn't get calls after I was finished.
My consultant rates were way higher than what I was being paid when I was
Oh
working.
yeah, me too.
The company,
I
they wanted
left
me, so they paid it.
earlier in my career. I left a company, and then they immediately hired me back on contract for almost 3 times what I was making, and I gave them the price, and they said, "Well, how many hours a day is that?" I said, "From the time I go in till the time I leave." Well, the first time they called me, I was in there for about 10 minutes.
What's going on, brother?
Oh, what's up? It's working.
See, now it's a lot easier for the merge since we're all StreamYard.
yeah, it makes it a little more fluid.
Yeah.
I was gonna try to set the scan offset on the OMTech, but obviously I guessed wrong on the settings.
I blow this up. Hang on.
I have inadvertently created screen.
Is this how do we blow this up, Rick?
Oh, hold on.
Oh wait, no, I guess we can do it here.
Wait.
Solo layout. There we go.
Yeah, so there you go. I inadvertently created a screen.
Well, they call that opaque. You know, that's for
There you go.
effect. If you're doing photography, you know, that would be a big thing there.
Yeah, I probably need to back down the power just a little bit.
Well, you can't. All that's really important in an offset test is the ends. So
yeah, I mean,
and you can see the ends don't line up.
Yeah, it needs a little bit of adjustment. I'll get back to that later. I didn't realize it was going to burn through that so easy.
There's an old saying: "It looks good from my house."
It needs a little bit. Like I said, I've set it at 100 and I've set it at 100 and at 500, but I haven't dialed it in at everything in between. So I was just sitting here playing with that while I didn't have anything else going on.
You think with the billions of dollars of AI technology we have on the planet now that they would just automatically fill in all those numbers in between?
Yeah, well, what started is I got a call this week from my buddy Tim that has the trophy shop in town, and his operator was like, something's wrong with the machine. It's making 2 copies of everything. And so I went over there, and sure enough, it was ghosting, like it was shadowing bad. And I'm like, have y'all adjusted the offset? And she's like, the what? I'm like, okay. But it's a Thunderbolt, and it's really, really fast. They had been running it slower to keep it from doing it, and rather than fixing the issue. And they've got an order of like 300 plaques to do. And I'm like, you're going to be here all week working on this one order. So we went from 15 inches per minute or inches per second to 100 after the calibration. Wow. So
that's crazy.
17 minutes for 4 is what it was taking them, and it was taking them 10 minutes for 6 when I got through.
It's the thing I keep reminding people that lasers aren't like toasters, right? You can't just push a button and have something happen at the same every time. They're precision instruments, and they're finicky, especially CO2 lasers, right? They can
Don't lie, Steve. They all come with that easy button.
Yeah, there's no easy buttons.
You just got to pay extra for the easy button.
If you have an easy button, tell me what kind of laser you have.
Hey, wait till he gets to CNC. We'll ask him where the easy button is for that one.
Oh yeah, your learning curve is
I actually have one of those easy buttons that Staples used to give out. Push it.
Yeah, they used to have
easy.
Yeah, it'll take Rick it'll take 3 days to figure out how to turn it on, and then.
Answer this question from Nancy. I do sublimation and laser engraving. I want to build a website. Should I make 2 different websites? Or you think I can have both on one? I do it on one.
Yeah, I think you do it on one.
Yeah, it's related. They're closely related. That's a craft. So I wouldn't have 2 websites. Then you would have 2 to maintain.
Customizable blanks. Now, do you want them sublimated? Do you want them laser engraved? Yeah. Now you could even have just a Tumblr website, right? If you're just trying to go pigeonhole in a certain area, and then the tumblers could be sublimated or laser engraved. But you don't even have to pigeonhole yourself that far. They could just be blanks. Later on, you could add signs and everything else. So, GoDaddy.com. Go get you a domain for $9.99 and get going.
Yeah, and if you want to, Squarespace has a good deal. You can get set up if you want to go with them. Our websites are through GoDaddy, and I use WooCommerce.
Yep.
Not sponsored by them by any means. I pay dearly for it, but that's what I use. And they have different plugins you can use for shipping and, payment checkout, and you can integrate PayPal and Google and Amazon Pay. There's all kinds of things you can do there.
Apparently, Roger, you're not the only one with any button.
No, this is the any button. The easy button is the one that Staples used to sell.
Yeah, I still have one. I should put it in the videos. What I ought to do.
Yeah, anytime you do a tutorial, you hit the easy button.
Well, Clack beat me to it on the X1 or the Xtool D1 being retired. I did get mine up today. But if any viewers out there, if you got an Xtool D1, and I've got a few things from viewers, well, should I sell this and get something else? Well, there's no reason to. I mean, it works. It does what you need it to. It's a good machine.
Use it until it dies.
Yeah.
Well, I don't.
And when it dies, let me know, because I got one hanging on the wall.
Yeah, I don't use mine anymore because I have 20 and 30 watt machines hanging on the wall too. But it's basically turned at this point. It's just a souvenir. It's like that first dollar that you made at your cafe or whatever.
Yeah.
I got like a little laser engraved plaque up there beside it and everything. My very first
it's
laser.
a shrine.
So I mean, the machine. Seriously, I mean, it's what started all this off, because prior to that, the YouTube channel was just me uploading videos of sawmill stuff. So
I look back at when I forgot mine, and it was in 2021. So
I misspoke in my video, and people were eating my lunch. I was like, man, I was getting a little frustrated. I'm like, dude, I just misspoke. I even had it written down on a sheet of paper. But after a few minutes, I was like, you know what? All this controversy and people like, oh, it was 2022, not 2020, or 2021, not 2022. I was like, all this stuff, that video's done better than any video I've put out for the past 3 weeks. So I really don't care. So I went back and edited it and fixed it. But hey, the video did better because of it. So I was like, it was a happy mistake.
Sometimes trolls are okay. They bump the algorithm.
Yeah, well, I mean, I did misquote because, and I even proofed I listened to the video twice before I uploaded it or before I made it public. And I was like, how did I miss that? But it's a number. And anybody that knows me knows I suck with numbers. I'm more of a mechanical kind of guy, not a numbers guy. And so I didn't realize it until I seen about 3 people comment. I'm like, what's going on? And I watched it. And I'm like, wait a minute. Why did I say 2022? So,
well, you're not the only one
that section, but the damage was done.
You're not the only one that made a mistake, because on the beginning of my video, I said the Xtool D1 printer. And I had to go back and edit that and I just put a title across the screen. It's laser, not printer.
Yeah, well, I just went in and because I never used the YouTube editor, so I wasn't really sure I could. But I was like, man, I hate to have to take that thing down and put it back up, because then it's gonna, people are gonna be like, why are you uploading the same video twice? So I was like, let me go in and try to use the editor tool to try to just cut those little sections out and make it still make sense. And I was able to pull it off, I think, mostly. So, it is what it is. But the point that I was trying to make was basically that, I mean, electronics especially are going to eventually die off. And instead of trying to rebuild the D1, they just let the legacy continue. You know what I mean? I mean, it's like they don't want to rebuild it because the D1, the next version, may not do as well. So I don't blame them. I mean, because you got Algo, Acemer. I know Steve is like me. The Acemer and the longer machines, I mean, they're hard to beat for the price,
Yeah,
and absolutely.
So why would Xtool want to come back and try to compete with those guys?
Well, you see, I mean, you know what Xtool's doing anyway, but they're moving up market, right? They're trying to separate themselves from the $100 lasers, and in fact, getting kind of distributed out of the laser business too. Like, I don't think they're getting out of the laser business, but they're doing other things, like their apparel printer, and there's a few other things they're looking at. So, I think they're just trying to position themselves differently, and I don't think they'll get back into that. I mean, their laser was always more expensive, the D1, but we'll say the low end of the laser market, right?
Yeah. I think the S1 is a logical place to go for people that are trying to get into it that wanted the D1. I think the S1 is a very logical place. It's actually a safer machine. You get a little more, of a customizable experience because of the conveyor and the screen printer and stuff like that. So
the one thing that drives me crazy about the S1 is the little autofocus thing that hangs on the side of the laser head.
Oh, how many times have you knocked that off? Because I can't
always
count
falling off, or like if it always goes down in the honeycomb and then it tries to move, and it's like, come on, you can do better than this.
Yeah, you got to make sure there's something under it, or it'll just go in the honeycomb and be like.
Yeah, but quite often it'll do that over at the home position, and then your material's over out in the center somewhere, and it's like, oh, this drives me nuts.
The one thing I'd say is that X-Tool and Glowforge both made their names a household name, right? People who not even really have a background in lasers, they know what they are. And I can't say that from any laser.
But where's Glowforge today, right? You never hear from them anymore.
I don't know. Yeah, when's the last time you saw an Empire commercial? But everybody knows their number.
Yeah, I think, the way X-Tool is going to where basically you have one software on your computer and it's XCS, and you can do everything from lasers to stickers to printing to now garment printing and all this just with one software. I think that's very unique on their part.
I started the rumor last week in the live stream that they're going to build a CNC.
Yeah, I heard you. But I asked that question specifically because I was hoping they would. I was like,
no, it would make sense, but no, I don't think they're going to do it.
They're like, no, we're not.
See,
we're not doing that.
We saw your lie work, so we're starting our own.
What's that?
Just kidding.
What now?
When you said 2022, everyone started busting your balls. So Steve tried to, jump on the hype and said they're making a CNC. See,
oh yeah.
But I did clear my name after I said I have no knowledge of this. So
yeah, I was hoping they were going to, but Jason was more or less just like, no, that's not something we're into. And I'm like, dang it.
Yeah. It's also something that I'm sure the Lightburn guys regret getting into.
Yeah.
Yeah. I just like when they announced, it's almost 2 years ago now, when they announced that they were going to build Millmage, my first reaction was, do you realize how hard this is? This is not like a laser, right?
Yeah.
And there they are. I don't know. Have you seen Millmage, Black?
I haven't.
I played with it, and it's a better version of Easel, and if you've used Lightburn, you'll know how to use it. But it's so far away from something like Vectric, right? It's just anybody who's does anything semi-pro would look at it and go, hey, I'm never going to use this. And it's still not it's still not available, right? So.
First laser Sculpt Fun S30 Pro Max 900 by 900 extension kit. I took my Ray 5 and took it to 800 by 800, and it's very useful for making big signs. Otherwise, it's just a pain in the butt to store.
Yeah, if you've seen Clack's video, what did you call that enclosure? Because it was so huge.
Are you talking about my enclosure Zilla over here?
Yeah, there you go.
I mean, it's a massive enclosure, but you got to that enclosure generates me about $600 a week. So, I mean, it is. I can't knock it. I did email a company. I'm emailing with a company right now that makes a machine that's got a significantly larger work area. It's a CO2 machine, but it's not one of those that's so big that it's going to take up my whole shop, but it's just big enough that I can use it to do my stove covers. I mean, you see, I got 6 of them sitting over there now that I got to deliver. That was from this weekend. So, I mean, I got to have something that I can sit those things in and make them. And this is a CO2 that coincidentally, the work area is almost like it was made for what I do. And so they've emailed me about taking a machine, and I'm like, but then I run across that machine and saw it, and I'm like, wait a minute, now that I could do, because right now, I mean, no offense with the X40, but it's a 40-watt diode, and it would be better if I had 100-watt CO2 to do them with. That would, be a little faster, and it would offer me other things to be done with this space, because right now I've got this for stove covers that I can't let go of, and then my CO2 is over there. So if I had 2 applications in 1 square foot, area, that'd free up some space for something else. So might even could bring my 3D printing out here. Who knows?
Nice.
Well, if you have a really big laser, it gives you an excuse to build a bigger shop, right?
Well, I'm doing that.
Yeah, well,
That's coming. I just got to get retired first. So and I moved it up here where you can see it, Chris. 238 days before I can actually do this full time. Assuming I don't get sick right near the end, because I also have about 1,000 hours of sick time.
Oh, you feel the cough coming on? Chris said Millage just added a new lot of beta testers, so it's probably getting 6 months away.
Yeah, I mean, the problem is I think they've missed the market now. Like, no one is going to care anymore.
But it say got to get it while it's hot, right? They let it cool.
Well,
off.
no, but if you look at the CNCs where that tool is targeted, things like Genmitsu, they all support Vectric now, right? So, and I mean, anybody who uses Vectric is
I see it.
Anything that uses Vectric is no one's going to use Millmage on it. It's too basic.
Oh, this comment here about me starting an OnlyFans page, I can't do that because that'd be a competition with Steve.
We have a no competition clause.
I can show you the ropes. Don't worry. There's lots of business to go around.
It's going to start off with a case of baby oil showing up at your house.
I see Nancy's asking if it's an RM, but no, it's not an RM. I hadn't. It's actually a really popular company. And like I said, I ain't gonna say anything because this is one of those where they sent me an email about further cooperation and this, that, and the other, and I'm like, I'm really not interested in anything right now. And then I see that, and I'm like, okay, wait a minute.
So whatever you do, if I can give you any advice, Clack, don't lock yourself into one of these 3-year deals.
Oh no, I don't sign contracts. And that's
but you know what happens, right? When they say, "Oh, you can only make videos with our laser."
Oh no, we're not doing that.
Yeah, that's the death of a channel.
I will just because here's my thing. It's not. This is like with the Shipoko. I sent the same email to 3 different companies. I'm like, hey, I'm looking at getting the CNC. Who's got the best deals? Who's got affiliate links?
Right.
I'm open for negotiations. And Shipoko was the one that emailed me back, so that's what I purchased, and I bought it. I'd write them a check. Went on the website,
and it's a good CNC, right?
And purchased it, And that's just like with this company. If they come back and say, "Hey, we'll give you, this discount or whatever on the machine," and then I'll do it. But I don't go for that kind of stuff.
Yeah,
So I've had a couple of companies try that, like, "Hey, we'll send you this," and blah, 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 just read this contract and sign it. And it's like, okay, no.
I had a real sweet laser offered to me, like really nice, but it was a 3-year contract, non-compete clause. And I was like, what am I supposed to do? You just ended my YouTube channel. Like, unless you decide to.
My thing is my channel is based on my preference. Like, because, even though one machine may be more expensive, it may be cheaper, they may have better service. Sometimes I just prefer what I prefer. And that's what I tell people. I'm not scientifically saying this one's better than this one. I'm saying out of these two, this is one I prefer. And this is the reasoning behind my preference, which everybody's is going to be different. But no, before I do that, like I said, I make enough money off of my projects and my jobs that I do. I can justify going and buying a machine. So I'm not, that's not a thing. If they want to be a part of the Clack Shack, they can either give me an affiliate program, thing, or, maybe give me a discount since I'm going to be advertising for them. But
I got offered a CNC from a very reputable brand, but it was a smaller version. And I didn't want to get locked into making that's not what I wanted. So then I even said you're willing to give this to me, so will you give me a discount for the big one, the 4x4? No, but we'll give you this one because we offer that to veterans first, veterans, police officers, and what's it called? First responders. And I am a first responder. So I said, oh, well, no thanks.
Well, I've got, and Steve's going to love this game because I've got the smallest CNC I've ever seen. I had to take it just to see.
Smaller than? Oh, is it it's that one? Yeah.
Oh,
You actually have it?
It's on a boat. I'm guessing it's either on a boat or airplane or something. But it is exited China, headed this way. I've got the little ink pen thing for it. Hang on, I was offered that one and turned it down.
Yeah, they
just
sell it
wasn't
as they sell it as a desktop CNC. It's like that's
It's gonna. I mean, I was like, you know what? I want to see what I can do with it. You know, I mean, it's just fun because that's why I do this stuff. A lot of it is business, but like this stuff right here, this is just fun. I don't think Genmitsu's ever paid me $1. Oh, so
no, yeah,
unless
I'm
it
the
was
same
through
way.
Amazon or something.
I like their CNCs. Like they're decent for the money.
But yeah, you get this little thing, and they've already sent me this. It's got a sleeve. Apparently, I don't like this. Apparently, you have to take the module off or the spindle off, and then you put this where the spindle goes. It's spring loaded. It's got some little thin springs, and then it's got this little thumb screw that holds your ink pen or marker or whatever in place. So with the Shapeoko, I actually have a side mount on it. Like it's like almost like a Picatinny rail for a firearm or something, to where I can add the ink pen or the cutter or the diamond etcher or whatever to the side of it as well. So I wish they'd have done that. But like I said, this is just something to play with. It's going to be fun. I do have a buddy of mine that lives right down the road. He's a ham radio operator, and he's a hobbyist. He makes his own circuit boards, and like he makes radios and stuff. Like literally that he like will 3D print an enclosure and make a radio. So probably
is it Derail by any chance?
Is it what?
Is his name Derail?
No, this guy, you don't know him. He's the network engineer for Verizon.
Okay. There's a guy in your area who's very known for CBs and ham radios, mods and stuff.
I mean, I don't guess he is. I know his real name, but I don't want to call him out. But
you don't know his rapper name.
Yeah, no, that's what he's known.
I've never heard him called. I've never heard him called that. But he works for Verizon. He's like one of their network engineers. Like I don't think he actually does any work. He supervises the guys now mostly. But he does. This is his hobby is making circuit boards. He's brought them over here before. He had the DXF files and everything, and we've burned them on the fibers. But I was like, you know what? If nothing else, I'll show this to him if he likes it, because I mean it'd be perfect for what he does. Because I think it's like a 5x5 work area. So
it's cool. It's cool that you can make your own printed circuit board, but you can just go to China and get a handful of them for
PCB way.
Yeah,
PCB way will make you a circuit board for $5.
Yeah, or ACL
he loves
PCB.
doing it. Like he'll buy the boards, he'll buy the coating, the paint, and all that kind of stuff. And I mean, he's like legit.
He's geeky
into it
from
scratch.
Yeah.
So, and like I said, who knows? I might put a handle on the thing and like wear a battery pack and just like CNC as I walk the yard or something. Who knows?
Cut the grass and CNC with it on the ride on.
Put it on the back of my lawnmower and like CNC while I cut grass.
Nancy said, V said, Nancy, make 2 websites. One for laser, one for sublimation. Can't hurt.
Yeah, they will browse and possibly buy something else they didn't know they wanted. My thing is because I have to maintain 2 different websites. It's a lot of work.
It's a lot of maintenance.
Yeah. It's a lot of work.
Yeah. Clack missed Chris's comment there about that CNC.
What is it?
A keychain CNC.
Hey, I don't know what I'm going to do with it yet. But it was like one of those like, hey, can we just send you this? And I'm like, I really don't know what I'm going to do with it. And they're like, we'll send you all the extra parts and stuff for it. Like, okay, whatever. And like, they haven't even told me I got to make a video with it. It was just, will you take this? And I'm like, sure, whatever.
Yeah, we got a whole warehouse full of them, and we don't know what to do with them.
Yeah, Genmitsu has been one of those companies that I've enjoyed working with. Every product they've sent me so far worked. The 4040, the original 4040 was the Z-axis was a little flimsy. It worked, but you couldn't get too aggressive with the speeds and feeds. The 4040 Pro that I recently got, a Pro Max, I think you got one too, Steve.
Yeah.
It was really rigid for a little small machine.
Yeah.
Well, you don't want the 4040 Reno with that 2-piece bed because it sags in the middle.
Yeah, the 6050 was a beast. Like that thing. I mean, if you put a 1500 watt spindle on that thing, it would be I feel like it'd be as fast as this guy because it's built like a tank. I think it weighs as much as that machine.
Hey, Clack, do you have a longer Nano Duo?
No, but they asked me about it, and I told them I wasn't against the idea, but then like I don't know what happened. They went dark.
Yeah, I've got one, but I'm struggling to get it connected to Lightburn.
Uh-oh.
I can connect to it from my phone and engrave something, but it's and the camera on it works, but
yeah, they had sent me something because they sent me the 40 watt and they were wanting it. And as soon as I got the 40 watt, they're like, "Hey, will you take this one?" And I'm like, "Yeah, dude, I like literally just got the 40 off the truck." Because for the longest, they wanted to send me that when they were sending me the original Nano, I kept telling them, "Hey, I wouldn't mind having the 40 watt, longer to go with it, to do." They never would send it, but then they sent it, and I guess they were sending it because they figured lube the wheels for the Nano Plus or whatever.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, it's been. Looks like it was on the 23rd was the last time I heard from Longer. So yeah. But I don't know where they're at on that.
Well, they sent me one, and I was just wondering if you had one, and you could tell me how the hell to get a like Lightburn does not see the USB port on this thing.
I had the same exact problem on the regular one behind me.
Yeah, how'd you solve it?
I manually installed it.
Well,
now,
I did a manual install too, and
now not to doubt your abilities, but you have tried a different cable, haven't you? Because I've had several people run into a bad batch of cables lately.
Yeah, I have. Actually, the cable I have it on right now, I actually unplugged a laser to use it.
So. Because I had a guy the other day call me and we troubleshot everything, and I'm like, dude, it's got to be the cable.
And
I thought, well, cable on Amazon, cable got here, and sure enough, it was brand new.
No, I've had cables go bad too. I've
had brand new ones out of the box. And another thing, one of my viewers had a problem. They bought a longer USB cable, and then they couldn't connect to the laser anymore. I said, did you buy a charging cable or a data cable? I don't know. That's just there's a difference. If you buy a charging cable, you're not going to communicate with your machine.
V is providing technical support here too.
Yeah.
Yes, V. So before anyone else asks me if I've turned it on and back off and back on again, I'm a systems engineer. I know how to do this stuff.
Hey, but you'd be surprised though, and I'm world's worst about it. I've asked those questions 1,000 times, but when it's you, for some reason, it's like you just you have a mental block.
I know. I don't know how many times I've gone over to my Omni One and turned it on. It's like, damn it, the thing doesn't work. I'm gonna get on the phone to comm marker, and then I go, oh, emergency switch.
Or there's that. I don't know if yours does it. Maybe mine's different. But if that light on the source is flashing, it's no go.
Well, no, it's warming up, right?
A minute or so to warm up and get ready to go.
Well, I've had a lot of people say they're using a laptop, obviously on their laser, and they don't have it plugged in, it's run on battery, and whenever they run a long engraving, it stops working, right? Well, it's because they have power management enabled and it disables the USB.
You got to turn that off.
And it's always like, well, did it work? Oh no, it didn't work, but I figured it out. Like,
it's okay. It's okay to turn the display off, but don't shut the CPU down.
Yeah, that's like all the new Windows machines come with all that enabled, and it will mess you up.
Yeah.
I did have one viewer was he says, I'll start a project on my laser and I'll close the laptop and go watch it and it stops. I said, don't close the laptop. That puts it to sleep. Don't do that. Leave it on. Turn off your power management. Keep it on all the time.
Yeah. Radu, the Impaler, was asking about having the 70 watt set to 35. To be honest with you, unless it gets bumped accidentally, it stays on 70. It's nothing that I do with that machine do I care any about, the spot size? And from 70 to 35 with this machine, it's not that noticeable. It's not like, oh my gosh, what a difference. I'm sure if I did a test, I could get a measurable difference in them. But just looking at it, I mean, most of what I use that machine for is cutting or really deep engraving, because I just got so many different machines that do other things that, 70. If I put something in here on the 70, it's like a half-inch piece of plywood that I want to cut in half in one pass.
Yeah, it's why I usually tell people not to bother even with a 40 watt laser, right? Because most 35 watt lasers versus 40 is such a marginal difference for a whole lot more money with a 40 watt, right? So
Yeah.
You might as well just go with the lower power.
Well, if you do a lot of cutting, like I said, I will say if you're doing a lot of cutting, 40 the difference between a 20 and a 40 on cutting is pretty.
Yeah, but beyond I'd say 35, the difference gets more and more insignificant.
I didn't think I was going to notice the difference between a 35 and a 40, and I did. I thought it was going to be the same, but I was surprised.
Now a lot of it yeah, a lot of it depends on how they shape the beam.
Well, I'm saying the Ateza V35 versus the longer, what is it, 40 watt?
B1.
Yeah, that's
B1.
actually
The B1.
I think
The B1 like blew away the Ateza. Like there was no comparison.
Yeah,
My B1 probably gets used more than any of my lasers. I mean,
Yeah,
that's my workhorse.
Well, I just got the 40 watt B1, but I ran the 30 watt in this enclosure for months, and I liked it. It does a really good job. So when they offered me the 40 watt, I'm like, well, heck, why not? You know, I like the 30.
Yeah.
So
yeah, the 40 watt just out the gate had a lot of problems, but I was able to get them all resolved. But it was having like 7 different problems, being goofy. But some of them we've talked about in the past already, like the laser not turning off. You know, just random little things.
Yeah, I saw that on the B1 I had was like pre-production. And I saw that happen a couple of times. And I said to them, like, you better fix this because, like,
yeah,
you know,
it stays on. You get this big dot. You're like, what the hell?
It stops in the middle of the material and it's full bore, right? So it's like,
or I couldn't get it to home like at all.
Yeah,
you know, I forgot how I had to do some. I can't remember what I had to do to make it home, but it wouldn't home. Just a couple, like 5 or 7 different goofy things. Like,
well,
like the first one I got, I don't know if it was the B1 or the one before that. No, I think it was the B1, and that's where I first ran into other Steve Ventari, and because I knew he was testing one, and I ran into all these problems, and I said, "Hey, have you had these problems?" And he said, "Well, he was on vacation or something." I said, "Well, here's the problem I'm having." By the time he got back, I had fixed it. But they were actually, when you did the automatic install of the laser, they were picking the wrong laser Gerbil driver. They were picking the E, and it was like nothing was working.
The laser was like hanging on and off.
Yeah,
like
and I literally sent a message to Longer and said, I am not testing this laser. You should not even sell this laser.
Yeah, he called me or texted me or something when he started. He's like, please tell me that you figured out what's going on with this thing so I don't have to. And I'm like, that is cheating. First of all, you need to go through the struggle. But yeah, that's what it was. It was doing like a GRBL LLPC or LPC.
Yeah, some wrong driver anyway. And it was just like
mine didn't do that. I don't know what the difference was, but I wound up sending him my config file. And that's when he noticed. He's like, yours is not set to the same. And that's when we found out what it was doing. But yeah, the only problem I had with mine was they put the air assist cone, the hole in it was big enough to put your finger through it. And I'm like, what good is that doing? That's not doing any good. So I wound up taking a Comgrow air assist kit for a X-Tool D1 and swapping the cones out and fixed the problem. Steve, he's a alternative over his and made his work.
Yeah, you just stick a piece of tape over the nozzle and drill a hole through it with the laser, and then you got a good air assist system.
No, yeah, they sent me a message like, "What's going on with the unboxing video?" And I was like, "I don't know, what's going on with this?" And I gave them a list of questions, and it took them, I don't know, a little while, but then they got me an answer for all my questions.
I don't know why companies in general are still excited about unboxings. I like they say, well, you got to do an unboxing. It's like, I don't want your laser then. I don't do unboxings.
Yeah. Yeah, I just told I wasn't going to go on. I wasn't going to make a video and say there's all these things wrong with it when I thought the laser was probably really good. And turns out, man, I use that. That's my go-to laser now. I love that laser.
Well, I wasn't going to do an unboxing on this Bamboo A1 that's behind me here. I mean, because so many people do it. But then when I started unpacking it, I found they got little compartments in the styrofoam where they hide things. I said, I better point this out.
But that's part of the fun.
There's a little bit of unboxing, and I haven't published that video yet, but there's a little bit of unboxing in that one.
Chris said 50 plus years in IT. I got caught out checking. What is it?
Not checking it. The PowerPoint is plugged in properly.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah, it happens. I've done some dumb things.
Yeah, when I first put my dust collector in, I couldn't figure out why the hell it didn't work. Well, I didn't turn the breaker on.
Yeah, this this Nano Duo, it was interesting. When I first plugged it in, I had no serial ports in Lightburn attached to it, and now I have 2 serial ports attached to it. So I don't.
Do you have anything installed on other devices?
Neither one of them works. So
do you have anything installed under other devices that auto default install with the generic USB driver?
No, not lasers. That was the first thing I did: unplug all the other lasers that happen to be plugged into my computer.
Yeah. Yeah, and I can't get this Nano to frame. I mean, I'm framed, not home.
Framing is a bit weird on a Nano.
I was like, well, whatever.
You can't really frame unless you have the conveyor on.
Yeah, like I said, the Nano, I always ran it with their software.
Yeah,
because it just and like I said, Xtool does a decent job of trying to adapt to Lightburn, but it's just not the same. Like when they design it to work with their software, it's just clunky.
Well, that's what I tell people, right? Because I don't know why people. I mean, I know why people get hung up on Lightburn. I guess partly because it's popular and it has a lot of power. But it's like this laser is not really designed for this, so you can use it, but it's probably going to do weird things. So just use XCS.
Yeah.
Same with on the WeCreate, their Make It software. Like they have probably the best Lightburn integration of any of the ones that weren't intended to plug into Lightburn. But it still runs better with their own software.
Yeah, I agree.
Even though I'm not a fan of their software.
Their own software versus a compatible software. Makes sense.
Yeah.
I think my thing with Lightburn is because I'm so used to using it. Hell, I've even designed CNC stuff in Lightburn.
Now I can't design in XCS. I mean, I can import a DXF, a SVG, image, and go from there. But as far as like designing, I'm too comfortable in either Vectric or Lightburn to even think about trying to do it in XCS.
Yeah, I typically don't design in any of those tools.
Beat Me Up Laser said, "You guys get frustrated using so many different machines all the time."
Oh, no, not me. No, it's fun.
I'm frustrated all the time, but it's not because I use many machines.
Yeah.
The one thing I would say is that having many machines, you tend to, I'll kind of bite off what Clack said. It's not that one laser is better than the other. It's just that I pigeonhole a laser for particular use. You know, like that's kind of like jigged for that. And I'm not saying another laser is capable, but I like the way that one it's kind of set up, and I just leave that for that particular purpose.
Yeah, like I still use my the Acmer P3 as my diode laser, but I don't do a lot of diode laser work. Usually, most of what I do is I do mostly acrylic when I'm cutting anything. So I need CO2 for that, but it's there, and it's there because I haven't found one I like better. It replaced the S1 because somebody actually came into my shop one day and said, "Hey, I want that S1." So okay, take it. I got another one right here. I'll just put this P3 up here, and I actually like it better because everything.
Yeah, another advantage to having a bunch of different machines is you can designate one for certain purposes. Yeah. And I do that. I mean, I've got one laser. It's an Adamstack A30. The only thing I use it for is coasters. That's all I do with it. You know, if I'm doing signs or something like that, it's usually on the B1. If it's a big sign, it's on the longer Ray 5. And I've got an Ortur LM3 as well. And that one's in an enclosure. So when the weather's crappy like this and I need to have it enclosed and vented outside, I use that one.
Yeah. My thing is I don't have any like my buddy up at the sign shop. He's got one machine running. He's got the Thunderbolt in there. So if he's working on a job of 300 tumblers and somebody comes in and goes, "Hey, I want these 10 glasses done for a wedding and it's tonight," he can't, you know what I mean? He can't retool and work that job in. So he'll pick up the phone, call me and go, "Hey, can you do these 10 glasses? If you can, I'm going to send the job to you." And I'm like, "Well, heck yeah." Cause you know, I've got my ohm tech over here doing this job. I've got my X40 over here running out stove covers. I'll just set those up and run them on the F1 Ultra and have them done in 10 minutes. If it's glass, I'll put it on the Omni. You know, to me, it's like having a bunch of workers as opposed to just being me, because I can have 3 or 4 machines doing different tasks while I'm over here doing this. Usually, like if I'm not doing a video, I've got the CNC running doing something. If it ain't nothing but cutting out little octagons for the wall or whatever they are, 5, 6, whatever heck is a hex. Anyway, honeycomb. But you know, I've usually got the CNC running, and then I've got at least one laser running most of the time. I may have a 3D printer running in the house and have it pulled up on the screen where I can see it. I mean, that's how I make money. Because if I was sitting here watching one diode laser run all day, I couldn't make any money. I need multiple machines going.
I do the same thing.
Me too.
Especially with 3D printer. Of course, I don't have running tonight because it makes too much noise and people object to it. But once I get the print farm moved, I think that'll change. But that's something else I'm working on here. Is actually going to move my print farm so it's all in one room.
Oh,
This
wow.
picture here is our office. It's in the house. And this long counter here and those shelves we used to use for a different purpose. And they'd been just collecting stuff. So the whole print farm is going to move down there. So I will no longer have 3D printers in 3 different rooms anymore.
Nice.
And not said I look like, or Andy looks like me. I don't know if Andy appreciate that.
Andy Bird's kind of looking like Dave.
But yeah, when I get more room, I want to get more organized. And I like also being able to, if somebody has a question on different machines, I like knowing the answer. You know, I like being able to say, hey, this is what it is. This is what it is. So that's, you know, I like the variety. I like being able to figure out which machine I like best for what. Just like with bamboo, because bamboo is one of those woods that I have to do it. I mean, because like I got boards on the list I got to do now.
Hey, Clark, what did you put under your CNC? You build it or did you bought it?
I built the table. My CNC, the Shipoko comes with the hybrid table, a hybrid underneath the bottom of it. It's got aluminum subframe with that doesn't have any gaps, and then it has the MDF inserts that go in there. And then my table is it's basically a box table, but it doesn't have the layer of plywood under the bottom. But it's like 12 by 12 squares made out of 2 by 4s underneath it, with 3/4 inch birch plywood on the top. So the table itself is very strong, because when I built the table, I wasn't sure if I was going to get a Onefinity or Shipoko or, you know, CNC Labs. And I knew with the Onefinity and the CNC Labs, I needed a little more substructure than I did with the Shipoko, especially with the Onefinity, because the table basically would have been the support structure for the machine. So when I built it like extra heavy.
Yeah, my table has a hole in it for my rotary on my CNC too.
Yeah, and that's the one thing that recently, and if they're watching, they'll understand, because I've done talked to them about it. I asked Shipoko the other day, or Carbide the other day. I'm like, hey, when are y'all coming out with a rotary? I want to add a rotary to my big machine. I've got a little tiny one for the Jimitsus, but I want a 4-foot capable rotary for my machine. And I was politely told that there wasn't enough interest in it. It wasn't on the horizon. So I'm like, okay, all right. Well, I guess, you know, CNC Labs it is.
I use mine quite often.
Yeah, well, I want one too, because I want to do different stuff, decorative stuff. I've got some ideas for some walking sticks and stuff like that, customized with 3D reliefs on them and stuff like that. I've got some ideas that I want to do, but I need a 4-foot, 48-inch rotary.
BJ has a good point here. So people like Lightburn because they like to use more than one laser and don't have to use multiple programs for the work.
That's true. And I have run 3 different lasers at the same time off the same computer. Just open 3 different instances of Lightburn.
Yeah.
I don't do more than 3 because I get confused after that. But
yeah,
I've 4 and 5 before.
Now the thing that XCS does, since this is the next XCS comment here, XCS definitely does multi-device support better than Lightburn, because it's all done from a single instance of XCS. You don't have to run multiple copies, because 3 copies of Lightburn, if you have a big model on it, it's going to use quite a bit of memory, right?
Right, RAM.
So XCS definitely does a better job there. And to this point, XCS is getting better. Like I said, I don't use any of these tools for design, just because I don't know where I'm going to end up, right? Like what would happen today if Lightburn went out of business and you have all these models that you can't use anymore, right?
Oh, it's proprietary.
I like fault tolerance.
Yeah.
Well, anything I design in Lightburn, if it's not for a laser, I'll export it as an SVG.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I've even done 3D stuff and exported the SVG and imported it into a 3D modeling CAD and then worked the rest of it from there. Because I could work on it's so much faster for me to design that the 2D part of it in Lightburn because I'm so used to it.
Yeah, Nancy, it's an addiction, right? It's like
Here you go, Rick.
Nice.
Minus the cross bracing, that's it right there.
Okay, cool.
I added some cross bracing using some of the scrap that I had laying around when I got through, and did the cross braces on the legs just to give it some extra rigidity.
Right.
But that's what the underside of the table
Nice.
looks like.
Does
Right
it
there.
have wheels?
Yes.
And there's no drawers though.
No, it doesn't have drawers. It does have a shelf, and then that's it right there. I've got the double lock and caster roller wheels with like 800-pound capacity for each wheel. So you can see that. Matter of fact, I got the same wheels on that table where my actual tools are right there. The big red ones. You can't really see them from here, but you can see that. You should be able to see that. Oh, you still can't see the wheel. But yeah, that's it right there. Now it's heavy. The whole setup between the machine and the table, because it's doubled up. I've doubled up 2x4s on the legs, and like all of the framework. I actually went back and doubled up some of it after I drew it up, and it's bulky. It's heavy.
Yeah, mine too.
But the reason I went with 2x4s doubled instead of a 4x4 is because I've never saw a 4x4 that didn't try to twist after you.
Yeah, absolutely.
So yeah, it's that wonderful lumber they use.
Yeah, so I went with 2x4s sandwiched, but I laid them to where basically the grains offsetting each other so that they wouldn't, so that they couldn't twist. They actually had to fight each other to try to twist.
Yeah. Yeah, so, that makes sense.
Yeah, Chris said the shelf's hidden by the green secrecy screen. Yeah, there's a machine under that screen I was supposed to have released it last month, but they ran into some issues. They pushed it back till March, and so it has to remain incognito. So, and everybody keeps bugging me. We'll try to guess at what it is.
There was a comment there about designing in Lightburn and then importing into Bamboo. Yeah, I've done that.
Yeah.
What was Nancy's question there about XCS? What do you love more in comparison to the S1? Well, I like the S1. What I don't like is their focus stick that keeps getting jammed in the honeycomb. But if you're an XCS shop already, it makes sense. I don't know. I don't use diode lasers on a regular basis, so it's a hard one to answer. What's sitting on my workbench right now for the last few months has been the Acmer P3.
I'll be right back. I gotta go in the house and grab something off the printer.
Right. Chris says, yeah, I have one laser set for rotary, one set for jig, one for general.
Yep.
Yeah, so same thing.
Yeah, I had a CO2 set up for rotary, but I wasn't actually doing much rotary, and I needed the space.
To get a good video to show how to set up multiple machines, you don't really need a video for it. Just open separate instances of Lightburn.
Yeah, so, up in the file menu, there's open another instance of Lightburn, and from there you can.
So what I did is I took my laptop and I plugged in a monitor, and I just drag it to the other monitor, so I don't get confused. And I know, like, I literally have like a monitor over there. That's for my diodes. And then I have the laptop sitting normally over here, and that's for the fibers. So I can run two different things, and I don't get confused because most of the time I'm running batches of something. You just want to hit click. You know what I mean?
When I'm running them down in the shop, I have 3 monitors I can work off of.
Yeah, I was going to say, that aside, I don't know how anyone does any of this stuff without more than one monitor. Right?
Yeah, over there. Look, I got 2 monitors over there. Yeah. So yeah,
when I do run these multiple instances, I'm not using. Now, granted, if you just have one laser or one 3D printer, you can use a really old laptop computer for it. You don't need anything powerful.
I have a $300 Best Buy special. It's nothing.
But I use for what I'm doing. I use actually gaming laptops. So you're looking at 1800 and up. because they have so much more power and so much more memory that
Yeah.
I can, be running 3 lasers at once and then have a CAD program up and designing something too. So
Yeah, the only thing that I do is before I do anything, I just reboot it, because a lot of times that thing's on since the last time I used it. So before I start the run a job, I just reboot it.
you
Because
get too
again,
much cache in the memory, and
Right. Well, because again, it's a $300 Best Buy special, right? It's not a gaming computer with a ton of RAM. So, and all I use it for is to run the lasers. Like I use my MacBook Pro, or I use my other computers to do all my designing and all that. Plus, since it's a $300 laptop, the monitor's screen's super small. Behind me?
Yeah.
It's
anyone
small.
familiar with the Creality slicer? Yeah, the Creality print is what it's called.
Yeah.
And, I've used it. I use it usually if I'm not using Orca, I'll use it when I'm sending something like Ender 3 V3. If I'm sending stuff to the Ender 3 V2s that I still have yet, I'll actually use Cura or Orca. I'm not a huge fan of Creality print, but
I use it on the K1 only because I'm too lazy to go set up Cura to do a profile for it. So
I have a
works.
HP TV that was like when they were like the first smart TVs. I keep saying I'm gonna bring it and put it like right there, so that I could have it run 4 different versions of Lightburn.
I've got a few monitors on computers in my main computer in my shop. I have 2 monitors on it right now, but they're 2 big monitors.
Yeah, that's
this computer. This is my editing computer. I've got monitor, 3 monitors back there.
Yeah, once you start using multiple monitors, it's hard to go back.
Oh yeah,
like, oh man,
it kills me if I have to use if I go help somebody and they've got a computer with just like 1 monitor. It's like, this is like the third world. Like, it's like, how do you deal with this?
Yeah.
Well, even for these live streams here, I'm on 3 monitors.
Yeah.
I don't have a camera I can zoom out and show, but yeah, I got 3 monitors running here.
Technically, I have 4 in front of me because I can use my teleprompter as a monitor too if I want. Yeah. I don't use it as a teleprompter very often, actually, but
you got a cameraman hiding over there too?
I wish I did. Actually, I wish I had an editor.
Yeah. See, look at that. Dried that filament. This is filament that's been on that machine for the longest. Dried the filament, did a print. Man, look at these things. And then the supports just popping right out.
Yeah.
Like clean.
Would you print that on the bamboo?
The A1?
Yeah.
No.
Now these are for my CNC, so I use the strength profile in the slicer. So they're layers.
Solid.
Yeah, the layers are a lot more solid and a lot more. I mean, the layers are different than a standard print. Takes a little longer to print 4 of these. Was a little over an hour.
And that's what you hit with your CNC. Mine are aluminum.
Yes, if you mess up, you just cut one of these. That's the great part about it.
As long as you don't hit the bolt.
Yeah, well, it's recessed, and generally it's back here.
Yeah,
like back here to the back. Matter of fact, I trimmed one the other day. I'll show it to you.
You could even 3D print bolts. I've done that before.
There you go.
Yeah,
there you go.
I used to have one here. It was my desk tinkering toy while I was on calls.
I didn't even think of that. That's a pretty cool idea, Roger. So if you even hit the bolt, you wouldn't actually chance I wouldn't break the bit.
Yeah,
right?
no, I don't have any handy here I can show, but yeah, I've 3D printed bolts and nuts before.
Yeah,
but these are the ones that I'm using. But now I didn't print these with the strength profile. I forgot to change the slicer before I printed them, so they're a little stringy. But these guys right here turned out great. Like, that's solid. So,
something else you could try if you want to have a little fun is go to the landscaping store or whatever and get some line for a weed whacker that fits the same filament diameter. It's nylon. You have to dry it, but you can make some really tough parts out of that stuff.
Yeah, it's not quite 0.3 millimeter. It's 0.9 or something, but you have to do a little calculation to get the flow right.
Yeah, because see, like these, I over tightened these the other day, and like that one's got a split. It's hard to see it, but the layers came unstuck.
Multicraft said, by the way, guys, thanks for straightening me out in the hobby version of Fusion. Saved me $400.
Yeah. Now keep in mind, if you are using it for business and you make, I don't know how much money it is, read their contract, their agreement. If you make it enough money, they want you to buy the commercial one. So I use the commercial one, but I hate every year I hate cutting that check.
Speaking of which, last night, I don't know when they're going to get through editing it, but last night I did their, matter of fact, they call it their shop talk with Autodesk Fusion. So I don't know when that's going to air, but we recorded it last night. Kind of the guys from Autodesk and me sitting here talking about shop stuff. So as soon as I find out when that is, I'll post it, but it may be a while because they take their videos really serious. They're not.
Yeah.
So.
All right, guys. Look like we just hit time. Actually, it's a little past 8:30. It's 8:35. So, Dave, thanks for joining us. Appreciate you joining the live, and anyone who came out and met us tonight, thank you for joining the live. Appreciate it. And if you haven't already, if you made it this far in the live and you're already not a subscriber to our channels, make sure you do hit that subscribe button and do hit the thumbs up button. That helps a lot. And if you're not a member of the Facebook group, join it. This is the bragging page. Show your stuff, brag, and let us see the stuff you created. We appreciate it. You guys want to say anything?
No, thanks for coming out. I have my next video is a coin making video, so divulge all Rick's secrets.
Well, my next one is getting all this A1 printer set up and modded. So, David, if you want to watch that one when I get it posted, you can mod the hell out of that printer.
Hold on, Steve. Let us close out. Then we'll take us off the screen so you can show it. I'll blow you up. You want to say anything, Dave, on the closeout?
I'm just going to be out here working, hanging out. I've got an event tomorrow night, that auction that I donated that piece to. They're having that tomorrow night, the fundraiser. So I'll be out of the shop tomorrow. I'll be at the auction doing all that tomorrow, hanging out. But hopefully get back in the shop and do something. I'm semi caught up on stove covers for now. So
seeing Clack pushed me to put the CNC together because every time we talked, you say, you keep saying you have a CNC. I haven't seen it.
I mean, I'm just waiting on you to get it put together because I think you're going to enjoy yourself with it. I may even take. I've got some aluminum coin blanks over there that I forced, and I may even take that my miniature.
Go real slow and real shallow.
Yeah, and just set it up and let it run a coin.
Steve, let's see it. Steve, go ahead, show it. Whoops, I put myself.
Get my eyes out of the camera here so you can focus. So this is it's kind of been antiqued, right? These are all AI generated from the get-go. Jesus, can't focus here. I won't be able to focus. Anyway, that video will be coming out soon.
That's right fancy right there.
Yeah.
He said, I don't care who you are. That's fancy right there.
Yeah. Well, I have to keep up with Rick. He always keeps one of these things in his back pocket at all times in case somebody asks.
Well, I may be forced into doing one of those before too long if Monport does what they're claiming they're going to do. But yeah, we'll see.
We'll see. All right, guys.
I couldn't sign a deal with Monport.
I haven't signed anything. That's the thing.
Well, I think they may have learned their lesson.
They sent me something, and I just edited it and sent it back to them. And
I did that too, but then I said I don't like any of this, so they went away and didn't
because they tried that with the GA30. They're like, "Oh, we need you to sign this contract." I'm like, "Never mind."
Yeah.
A couple of weeks later, they're like, "Here's your tracking number."
Yeah, they came back a couple of times, but every time they got to the point of, okay, we'll ship you one, then they go dark, and it's like, yeah, forget it.
Yeah.
But all right, guys. See you guys next week. Thanks for joining. Appreciate it when you came out.
Okay.
Thanks
See everybody next week.
Yep.